What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to a financial journey. Today I want to talk on several different things, one of which is what big money is doing with SoFi behind the scenes and why that is a very big deal for us as investors, what Jim Cramer recently said about the banking sector. And I know Jim Cramer is not everyone's favorite individual, but he is very, very bullish on banking. So depending on how you see Jim Cramer, that might be a positive or a negative. And outside of that though, Samsung Pay. So I want to talk on all of that. But before I do, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. Live ticker is going at the very bottom of the screen, almost up 5%, 13.8 million for volume, and this is within the first 1 hour of the trading day, and 2.6 million shares being purchased by institutions on the secondary market. So I've definitely seen a nice transition over the last little bit on the amount of buying that's been happening. So like I said, both on the secondary market and also the dark pool. So these are all the transactions just today, like I said, within the first 1 hour of the trading day, just on the dark pool. So clearly a lot of big money is starting to get back into SoFi. So that can be seen as a very positive thing. Outside of that, there's a lot of big players that is now getting into SoFi, or at least more so increasing their position. And what I mean by that is there's Vanguard and SoftBank. SoftBank recently dropped roughly about 49.86 million, which we already know, but BlackRock increased their position in SoFi 13.61 million. So that is absolutely epic. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Whenever you do see a lot of the big institutions increasing their position, that does go to show that most likely we are at the bottom or close to that. So I think that's one of those kind of finite things, because previously they had 30.85 million. So clearly they increased it around 20 something percent. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I love to see when institutions consistently buy whatever stocks I have, because it does show, like I said, it does have sufficient amount of value. This is why a lot of people out there saying that SoFi is going down to zero, whatever it might be, definitely it proves a lot of those naysayers wrong. So let me know your thoughts on that. And even when it comes down to that though, Jim Cramer's jumping on board with the banking sector. So like I said at the very beginning, hopefully this isn't a negative, because typically whatever Jim Cramer does say is a little bit more inverse, and this is why there's even those inverse ETFs, which it did take a while for those to come out, but still, regardless of that, he's very, very bullish on Wells Fargo and the banking sector in a whole because of the Fed rate hikes. And I find this absolutely hilarious that I've been saying this for a very long time. Banks make more money when interest rates go up. It's plain and simple. That's just the fundamentals of the sector. And it's very interesting to see why it took so long for people to realize that. I think in reality, a lot of people were just prioritizing and really focusing on the whole recession or a possible epic recession. And when I say recession, I'm talking about 2008, possibly worse. So I think a lot of people were focusing on that and why that would be very damaging. But if you take that, all the fear away from that and realize that banks go up, this is why SoFi is at a huge, huge discount. So that's why I've been saying right now is a very good time to buy. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. So I think in general, though, a lot of good things is going to be coming, not necessarily just to SoFi, but the broader sector as well. But in reality, whatever stocks typically get hit the worst usually bounce back even more. So just looking on a comparison basis, I did touch on this briefly as well. So I do have SoFi, Bank of America, and Citi. So Bank of America and Citi are the little bit more comparable ones to SoFi. Over the last 6 months, SoFi has been down roughly about 30%, whereas Bank of America and Citi is around 12%, give or take. And even more so if you want to stretch it about 1 year prior, it does look like SoFi is down 76%, whereas Bank of America is only down 25%. So SoFi has been hit so much more, which goes to show that if we do have a nice reversal, SoFi will go up so much more, even faster. And I think that's a good telltale sign about a lot of growth stocks in general. Typically when there is a kind of a rebound, they go up so much more. And as you can even see on these little blips right here, typically on a comparison basis, if we were to start it like right here, for instance, it does go to show that SoFi does go up a little bit faster than a lot of the traditional banks. But I am ranting. So ignore all of this. In the end, SoFi is a very good deal. That's my own 2 cents on that. But there's also Samsung Money. I do really like what SoFi has been recently doing as far as all the partnerships, and one of which is Samsung, and even more notable as well recently with Visa. So I think a lot of their acquisitions are doing a lot of good partnerships to mitigate a lot of the risk for SoFi's bottom line, which is a very good thing. And Samsung Money is definitely going to bring a lot new customers to SoFi by offering no fees and things like that. So I think right now this is a very good deal. As far as a kickback outside of the actual customers or whatnot, I don't know if necessarily it's that other beneficial, or if SoFi has to pay anything for this partnership. I haven't seen the finite details on that, but I think in general, if you want to scrape away all the BS and other crap out there, I think this is a very good thing. So as you can even see, like I mentioned, no count fees, no problems. And like I said, I love to see when big money is getting into SoFi, especially more so with Blackrock, Vanguard, Jim Cramer is kind of a hit and miss, but definitely very good to see. At the end of the day, Jim Cramer does have a very big following. So as much as some people really hate him, whatever he does typically say, people like to pay attention to and kind of focus a little bit more on the sector. So I think this is going to result in a very positive thing for SoFi, and even more so on the technicals. Like I even said in yesterday's video, we did successfully rotate from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. So things are starting to turn for the very positive in that aspect. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you've been buying over the last couple of days, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. You definitely deserve that. And in general though, like I've been saying, this is a screaming buying opportunity at these levels. But let me know your thoughts on that. Stochastic as well is showing a nice deviation starting to form, so black line above the red, and it is also at 34. And then there is RSI, so which is at 48, which is fairly neutral in that regard. But one positive takeaway is retail is starting to get back in, so that's definitely a good sign, and you can tell that based on the momentum indicator at the very bottom. So things are starting to look very positive and hopefully a little bit more safe. In general, like I've been saying, there should be a nice value rally up until most likely November. So November, we do have a lot of big things coming out. So November the 1st is our earnings, then November the 2nd is the Fed rates, and then also there's midterms and a lot of different things. So November is going to be very, very volatile, but hopefully for the positive. So let me know your thoughts on all of that. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.